Alright guys, enough of that. Another Hans Zimmer special. Get us all pumped up. So, yeah, since we last spoke on Wednesday, there's been a little bit of developments here. You've seen some polls come out for and against UK PMA in the election. That's made this the pound recovery after that really strong poll a little bit more subdued. In fact, I think we're on the back foot now. The latest poll was pretty negative. It was YouGov, and it was only the Conservatives leading by 3 points or something. That's ridiculously low. And given the uncertainty over the weekend, I suspect that the downside is a little bit more open here than the top side. But if you're not short already, because I already sold on that YouGov poll, I wouldn't be chasing just here before the NFP, right? What we're going to use is the pound as a potential trade on a weak NFP number. So what does that mean? A weak NFP number means US dollar gets sold aggressively because of the ADP was pretty strong. So the ADP came out yesterday strong. So everyone's now thinking, you know, this NFP is going to come at 200, 220. So if it comes out, say, 130, 140, you'll get an immediate reaction to the top side. And I'll be looking to fade the pound, sell into the pound for that weekend risk and the chance of some more negative news around 123, 124, 129.30, 129.40. Now that's the trade on a weak announcement. Okay. The other trade on a weak announcement is our new trade from yesterday, which is the short Aussie. Now the short Aussie is based upon a couple of things, right? And we'll talk about it more in the coming weeks, coming months. It really seems inevitable now. It's the weakest currency in the market. The economy is stalling. House prices are stalling. Our capex was terrible. Our GDP is likely to be negative for Q1. And all these things haven't really played out into the price action yet, and the market hasn't really turned bearish on it. So in terms of looking for a potential story out there, the short Aussie is one that could evolve into something like that CAD story. You remember the CAD was sort of range bound for a while, then it broke to the top side. So CAD was sold in that scenario. Same thing here. I think there's enough negative things gearing up here that we will eventually break down with the Aussie. And we've got a little bit of support for the Aussie around these levels, and some old trendline support from way back still here. So we've got to get underneath that to really do some damage and get people excited on the downside. But we're going to be selling in anticipation of that, right? We like to do that a lot. We like to try and get a hold of something before it happens. And I don't think we've got too much danger to the top side. So if we're selling between 74, 74.50 on a weak number tonight, I think we're going to be fine. You know, to get back above 75.20 is a huge mission for the Aussie. There's just not the data to support it, and there's not the sentiment to support it. Chinese PMI was also very weak, the private PMI, and I think there's enough doubt there that rallies will be sold. And the pound is more just, there's enough uncertainty there with the election coming up that any rally will be sold, at least back to 129. You know, probably keep on pivoting around 129 at the very least. You know, a whole string of really close polls over the weekend where we're selling heavy on Monday. And if it's a strong, you know, with relatively strong polls on Monday, I don't think the market has too much room to move to the top side before the election. All right, so you're setting yourself up for ways to make money here based upon events that are coming up and just general sentiment towards the market. So that's a weak NFP number tonight. Probably not going to be weak though. So let's, you know, focus more on what to do if it's strong or if it's decent. Well, there's varying degrees of strength, right? Now, early in the week, we probably talked about the dollar yen and its underperformance. Now, the ADP did allow it to have a nice little relief rally yesterday. That was the first rally in 6 days, right? But the underlying reason for the dollar yen to underperform, the weakness in US yields, is there. Okay, so no one's really expecting a hawkish hike from the Fed. They're going to expect a hike and maybe a delay until December, and perhaps even a policy misstep where we get, you know, even more dovish Fed if things go a bit more sour. And it's all that political risk, and, you know, stocks at all-time highs and dollar yen just not performing. So to me, it's a sell on the rally. So what I'll be looking at today is a decent number, right? So straight up like a 180 or a 200k number, I'll be looking to sell into that. If it's a bit stronger than that, right? If it's a bit stronger than that, then maybe we get above this previous high, and then we've got some problems, right? We've got a little bit more danger in selling if it gets above this 112.10 sort of level. And in that scenario, you know, fading the dollar yen move on a decent number probably gets a little bit more dangerous. What we want to look at also though is straight away, right? The market's going to be looking for reasons to sell the dollar yen spike. So what they're going to look at is the unemployment rate, but most importantly, they're going to look at the wage growth, right? So the average earnings, I believe it's called in the US, comes out at the same time. Average hourly earnings, right? Now, the Fed would be looking at this number as reason to be more hawkish, right? And if this number comes in subdued, and it's been relatively subdued for a while, then that's enough reason to get the whip. So when we trade NFP, we're always looking for that whip. We're looking for the reason for the whip, right? Now, this is the reason. A strong headline number, but subdued wage growth will lead to a very easy sell on the spike on the dollar yen. So we have to be keeping our eyes out when the numbers come out. We want to look at that headline number, see the reaction, then look at that average earnings, and try to sell into it if we're fast enough in that spike if it's a subdued number. So 0.1, all right, or below would be fantastic for that. Does that make sense, boys? I mean, that's a relatively simple outlay of what we want to do today. Now, if it comes in at 180 and the market does nothing, then we can't trade. Yeah, I mean, we can look still to remain short on the Aussie dollar. We can look still to sell some pound if it can manage a little bit of a rally, and depending on the average early earnings, we might be able to sell some dollar yen, but we won't be. The price action won't be there to make the quick money, so it might be very boring sort of stream post the NFP if that was to be the case. So yeah, now that's how I'm setting it up. I'm a bit, you know, I'm excited about all those extra trade opportunities here. You know, if this, I can see a couple of pretty high probability trade opportunities coming. And hopefully we do get that price action to back it up. Unfortunately, NFP has been pretty non-NFP for a while, right? If you traded NFP 3 years ago, you know what NFP used to mean, right? It used to be huge trades. Now we're not getting that in the main sense at the moment. This is a little fuzzy on the camera. What's going on in the camera? Let's see. You focus on me. See if we can get that a bit better. So yeah, the whisper numbers are a bit stronger nowadays. So everyone's pretty much priced in because the ADP was like 250 last night. Exact number, get the exact number for you. 253 versus 180 expected, and 180 is also expected for NFP, so it won't be a really big surprise if it comes in strong. It's actually probably, you know, half expected now. Price action is a little bit of US dollar selling in the last couple of minutes. This I mean, you know, the main problem with selling the Aussie, the main problem with trading the Aussie, it is the quietest pair in the market as well. So even though it's underperforming, that whole move, like this is literally, it could easily be a 4-hour graph, and that's a daily graph. That's how subdued it is. We've got really, really small movement, like daily ATRs, something like 50 or something. It's just, it does your head in a little bit. But eventually, any market which is really, really contained does actually lead to more volatility when it does break out. So let's not just ignore the Aussie forever. And it is something that we keep an eye on close here in Sydney. Let's prepare some of these charts just so we're ready. Right, we're going to be selling up here. I want to run 129.30 on the Aussie, pretty much anywhere. In fact, I'm confident enough that I can just set a limit order here on the Aussie. It won't usually have that big a move. And the dollar yen, we want to be looking at that 112.10. Let's see if we can get above that or not. Make them all the right. Alright, got our 3 little charts there. One lot's enough. So let's have a look at some of the previews there from some of the banks, just quickly. Next week's going to be such a big week. You know, Comey is testifying on Thursday after the ECB meeting. So you've got ECB meeting, you've got Comey testifying whether Trump pressured him or not, and you've got the UK election on the same day. Like, what a triple threat that is. Teacup's just coffee, mate. Just coffee. I'm being a good boy. I've been doing 6 AM shifts, so it's actually quite late for me. I had a little nap, little cat nap. All right, all indicators pointing to a strong non-farm. We expect 210. Yada. Today's ADP indicating probing super strong. Alright, so they're forecasting 210. They think there's even more upside risk to that. So they're very bullish on this number. Alright, average earnings. Expect unemployment rate to continue to fall as well. If all those things happen, the dollar yen's going to break higher and we can't sell. It should. Let's keep just quickly check on the US 10-year. So it started to move a little bit yesterday on that ADP number, but still seems like we've got a long way to go. Jesus, it's come back down. Can't even hold. Wow. So this is the main reason why we're selling dollar yen on rallies. That US 10-year indicates something's wrong. You know what else is indicating something's wrong? And the stock market's not representing it? It's gold market. Right? So gold's just remaining really buoyant on dips. And that just doesn't happen, right, if you've got a strong US dollar or a strong outlook. So the concern is being priced in with the gold being bought without any stock market sell-off. So stocks are probably not a good indication. They're risk on at the moment. I think stocks are doing their own thing and they're swept up in their own little world. Whereas the bond market is showing concern, gold showing concern, dollar yen showing concern. So I'm going to go with the latter, not the first. The stock market can be more crazy. Usually the stock market's what you call dumb money. It's not what you would try to base your economic outlook on. Yeah, when I'm at work, I actually always check the retail direction, GJ scalper, and it is pretty true, right? The most of the time, if you got multiple positions, so what do you think is the situation right now in the Aussie dollar. Majority are buying, yeah, of retail. What do you think's happening in the euro? It's like 80% selling. Yeah, it's really, it shows you which way the market's probably going to keep going, because I mean, it's not just because they like to sell rallies and buy dips. It's also because naturally retail traders hold on to losing trades longer than winning trades, so that happens a fair bit more than that's most of why you see that positioning. But it doesn't end, right? The market keeps falling, they keep buying, and it's only when it gets sort of crazy that you can start to use it. You just basically, I mean, they can be right every now and again, right? But maybe Draghi's going to help them out. Somehow we get some good Chinese news. I really don't know how you get a sustainable rally in the Aussie. Like, if we get a sustainable rally next month, right, we'll have a chat about how that happened. Because to me, it would require so many things to happen that I just can't see happening right now. So next NFP, we'll do a little check on our gut, huh? Alright, so if you're coming in late, just quickly, I'll go over what the trades are again. We're looking to fade some pound around 129.30. Trade some Aussie, fade some Aussie rally above 74 in the event of a weak number. We are looking to fade some dollar yen in the event of a strong number, depending on how strong it is, and the price action above 112. And if it's not really a clear price action, if it's a very subdued on target 180, and everything meets expectation, then we will look for a trade, but we don't have to trade. Four minutes. I was looking at all the expectations. Pretty much every bank is looking for a good number. Makes it a little bit more dangerous, right? And if we do get that price action on the dollar yen where it fails up here, then next week I think we can use that to get a bit more bearish on that pair. There's a few things lining up for the dollar yen to be a bit more systemically weak, back to like a 110 test in next week. No, we don't have to trade, yo-yo. We don't have to trade. Tell you what, my Twitter is bugging out lately. I usually use Twitter for this. Twitter seems to be faster than FX Trade or any of the... We have ourselves a little party starting. 100 seconds, guys. This is the sell area. 50 seconds. So I don't trade immediately. Probably most of the time. If you watch the last 8 NFPs, I think we made money on 6. We didn't lose too much when we were wrong either, but we don't have to trade immediately. It can be up to 5 minutes after. 10 seconds. Got probably a little bit delay there, a few seconds when I say that to you guys. It's coming out for you now. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to look into sell into the pound and the Aussie. It's a weak number, 138, not crazy weak, and earnings are, come on, unemployment rate did drop down. That'll do. And pound, I'm going to give it a little bit more time. So really, you know, this is where most of the weakness is going to come through, I think, on the dollar yen. We're going to see how weak exactly this pair is. So this was a little bit of a relief rally more than anything else. There's a lot of appetite to sell on dollar yen, so this is not going to help that pair at all. Like, it could have sold off anyway, right? I might have to go to the pound yen as our trade. Alright, what stock's doing though? Stocks aren't doing much. Alright, so it's a miss, but it's nothing crazy in terms of the price action. If the euro can break its resistance though, we might get some follow through on the dollar yen. So the unemployment rate's good, but the NFP was weak. Average earnings was as expected. So there's enough mixed in there to be a little bit bearish. Let's have a look at the Aussie. Oh, come on, market. Is that all we're going to get? Give us something. Give us a whip at least. Or give us a break. Don't give us nothing. Unfortunate, yeah? Alright, so in terms of timeline now, what you want to be looking at is the US Open. So the US Open's in 58 minutes. And just keep an eye on if euro can break here, the dollar yen's probably going to break here. Usually you do get some sort of snapback, right, in an NFP day. It doesn't seem like we're getting too much of that. So that's that may make it a little difficult for the Aussie. Aussie might continue higher here with the euro. Just weak US dollar, but I'm still happy to sell on this, on the rally. In terms of the pound, we want it above 129, like, to get in straight. Yeah, euro's got some definite backing going higher here. You know, this is make it much harder for us now, because, you know, the euro is our core trade that we were doing for all the last month. Now, we didn't get back into the euro because it didn't pull back on that pullback to that level that we're wanting. We had our limit orders, remember, set at 110.50. Now, we've had that resumption of the uptrend going into this ECB meeting, where all the danger is that Draghi's going to be this permy bear. Now, Draghi can delay this trade, you know, by 6 months if he wants. And the market's getting a little bit long in terms of the the short-term money's getting a little bit long right now. So it's the higher we are, the actually the bigger the danger that Draghi comes out and says something, right? And delays it, be more dovish than you'd expect. And he prepares his comments. You can if you watch Draghi for the last couple of years, you know he has those lines that he's sort of set up to try and get the market moving. I almost feel like he's got backup lines as well, and he's got the Euro chart somewhere, and he's like, well, that didn't work. Well, let's lay him on this one in the Q&A session. Dollar yen's breaking lows. Euro's now testing the high. Stocks are grinding lower. Really, the price action's not great though, yeah? In terms of we're not getting much movement. So let's not get too excited. Yeah, Euro does look like one punch high. So I don't mind that because that will drag the pound a bit and drag the Aussie a bit, and I don't mind selling both of those high. Yeah, but don't expect dollar yen's. Dollar yen's really dangerous here, guys. Don't buy it. I mean, if you're a scalper, yeah, but other than that, no. Now Andrew and Jason are going to be taking over immediately after this, so that could be some interesting extra commentary as we go into the US Open. Unfortunately, we're not getting the trades ideas that we set up so far aren't really working out. So the trades are to sell pound and sell Aussie, but we wanted it to go a bit higher than where it is. You can sell Aussie if you're a bit more medium-term trader like myself. Just don't worry about it. It's sort of scenario. But if you're a day trader, then you really want to be waiting for that good risk reward. And the pound, you want to see it sort of break that, take out some stops and fail, come back down. You can start to sell when some sellers come in. Here, I mean, it can just reverse here, but that's just not enough, right? Not enough pips in risk reward. If you're a day trader, anyway. For me, you can all do what you want. I say traders need to go on strike though until NFP produces more volatility. I mean, this was a pretty bad miss in terms of their expectations. You know, everyone had thought it was going to be a bit stronger, and the reaction has been, 60 pips. 3 years ago, it would have been 150. That sort of miss. DAX is strong, man. I don't think you can. Yeah, just keep holding, Chris. Yeah, just keep holding. I think it's fine. I would close out before the. I'd close out before the ECB though. Just in case Draghi doesn't deliver that extra QE that you need. But if he does come out dovish, then you will see the Euro fall and DAX have another leg higher, as everyone enjoys that party for a little bit longer. So yeah, I'm just going to leave those trades running. I've got the pound yen short. I didn't really want to shout call that one out in the room. That's a bit dangerous. But that's just, taking advantage of the pound weakness by another avenue. Doing dollar yen. Just short term, I might get out of that. It's a little profit. Let's take a little snack. See this weakness? Wow. Wow. And it's just grinding through. Pound's struggling here to keep up with the euro. Now that's just common, right? I mean, going into the election like that, all that risk. So if we're looking at the euro pound, which is a favourite trade of Jason and Andrew, are both in this trade, I think. You can see it's just going higher. 20 pips already. And it should continue to outperform all the way up to the election. Aussie's 15 pips higher, so nothing to report there. Aussie yen's another way of playing Aussie weakness though. So if you're looking at a pair which makes sense to be trading as well as pound yen short here, and you're looking for another way of getting short the Aussie rather than just against the US, then Aussie yen makes sense too. So dollar yen's falling a lot quicker than both the Aussie US and the pound US is rising right now. Wow, it's just grinding through. Okay, we're getting some, getting some nice push through. Alright, so keep an eye here. Hopefully later you get that trade. For the pound, I think that's a pretty high probability one up there. And with the Aussie, if we can get up to around 74.30 and you're a short-term trader, you should be doing okay during the day on that. And the good thing about if you sell up here, you can put your stop just above 75.80, so it's like a 50-point stop. But you're going to be targeting in the coming weeks, a couple hundred points. I was expecting a little bit more two-way action. But maybe not. Alright guys, I'll hand it over. Hand it over to Jason and Andrew to come on. They'll come on in shortly actually. I'll just stay with you until they're ready. Another sort of uninspired reaction to this number. I mean, look, if you're a euro trader and the dollar yen trader, then you're liking this. But the pairs that we really wanted to play is the Aussie here and the pound, and it's just not giving us what we need. So in terms of when you're seeing these profit taking, sometimes what you want to be looking at after these moves is when the market starts to do the reversals. See how quick the pound is reversing compared to the euro. That's just showing you where the danger is, who's the weakest currency. And right now, the pound's just underperforming. So it's reacting first and quicker when you get a little bit of US dollar profit taking. This was the main reason we're looking to sell it, but hopefully we want it high. Yeah. If you're an aggressive trader, Munins, then yeah, you can look to buy pretty quickly here on the pullback, and sell pretty quickly here on the bounce. Not really what I'll be looking to do. Yeah, I'm much more focused on the Aussie and the pound here, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. it's showing pretty clear, you know, where it wants to go. But you probably want at least a 20 pip pullback from whatever level you're looking. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully next month we're going to have a bit more of a reaction, or get some of our trades. Actually, Aussie's getting up towards that 74.30 here. Keep an eye on that. That's, you're going to be looking for the price action to stall, right, and then roll over, and then the sellers who are waiting, of which there are many, coming back through it. I don't think that, you know, you have to worry too much about a short squeeze here. The market hadn't moved too much in terms of the downside, so I don't think you have to worry too much about a big short squeeze coming on the Aussie. So this is probably a favoured way, but also the pound if we do get a bit higher. We should get some sort of retracement in the next half hour. Is dollar yen going to try and bust 110 tonight? God. No. It's not 2012, it's 2017. We don't get those moves anymore. We'll see. Good luck, guys. Trade safe. And next week, tune in, normal time, 19 GMT, because it's going to be a big week and we want to prepare some trades for next week. It's all about the pound, the euro, and that Comey testimony.